Hey, this is Coach Dave at the Headwall Climbing Center in Duncan, BC, and in the past, I've made lots of videos on how to get up an overhanging wall. But Phoenix Hunter, longtime fan of the show, wrote in and asked, what happens when you're at the top of the wall and you've got to get around this angle change? Now in this video, I've broken this challenge down and I'm going to give you 3 simple strategies and a few tips for how you can get around this corner and get to the top. Tip 1 is to get your hip pulled over your foot as much as possible. This is similar in all types of climbing, but it's especially true on the overhang. You're going to use your toe or your heel, you're going to pull towards your midline, and that's going to move your shoulders and hips towards your foot. And if you can do it well enough, it'll get you into balance, and then hopefully you can push down with the foot and propel yourself forwards. It should look something like this. I'm going to hook my foot over the hold, pull towards the midline of my body, and hopefully that allows me to reach over to the next hold. Or if I need to go up, hopefully I can push down or push my hip up and move up. Now, central to this whole strategy is your ability to block with the backside of your body. If I'm reaching with my right hand, I need the left side of my body to not rotate. I need to press it against the wall somehow. In the last example, I used my toe against the wall, underneath the wall, and that prevented me from folding back into the wall. If you don't have that option, if you can't put your foot against the wall, can you get a knee? Can you get a hip? Can you get an elbow? Maybe it looks something like this. Maybe I have my heel here, but instead of my foot against the wall, I can push with my hand against the wall. And that prevents me from swinging. And I can go up. Or maybe I'm up high and I use my elbow. I brace it against the wall to move over. Or if I have a steep overhang, I use my knee. Whatever type of angle of wall you're on or space you have, get strategic, get creative, see if you can use another body part to brace against the wall and help rotate you over and ultimately up. Now, tip 2 revolves around where you put your foot. If you have your foot too close to you on the front side of the hold, you won't be able to pull effectively and you won't get your hips over. But if you move your foot too far over to the back side of the hold, when you pull over and try to push down, you'll just slip off. What I recommend is finding a spot just over the corner, the top edge of the hold, where you can pull forward and push down. Maybe something like this. I put my foot here, I pull, I still have a platform so I can get myself up to the next hold. Now, up until now, I've been showing videos where I use my heel, but you can also use the bottom of your toe or the top of your foot. And tip 3 is practice using different parts of your foot. And that's going to involve different hip angles, and that's going to give you different leverage. Now, one of the most obvious is to just use the bottom of the toe. Instead of using the heel like I've been doing before, I simply pull down with the bottom of my foot to move myself forward. If I don't have a toe, if that doesn't make sense, the third way you can do this is by using the top of your foot and rotating your hip inwards, an internal rotation, and that pulls you forward. It takes some practice, but one of the coolest tricks I've ever come across is actually using the top of my foot in a toe hook, rotating my knee down, in this case, my hip over and my knee down. And I find I can actually pull myself over with the top of my foot. Once you master it, this move is incredibly effective, but I wouldn't call it easy. It took me a few years to actually get the hip mobility to turn my hip in so I could actually get close enough to the wall and make this work. But the way I did it was climbing across the wall in my warm-up, finding a far away hold for my foot, and instead of heel hooking or using the bottom of my foot, I rotated my knee down and tried to move across the wall using only the toe of my foot to pull myself forward. But like all tricks, like all things challenging, if you keep staying kind to yourself and you keep trying hard, you can learn it, you can master it, you can get over that lip to the head wall, and I can see you at the top. Cheers.